Hey, help support the show by joining the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Also, hit that like button to subscribe if you want more Cavs-focused content. First things first, obvious that needs to be said before I get into my complaints about this game. Darius got to make them free throws. I think it's going to be pretty easy to point the finger and blame it all on Darius and said he didn't come through. But I don't think your frustration should be reserved for just Darius Garland. One, this was just a straight up frustrating outing by the Cavs. And look, I understand they didn't have Evan Mobley, but they had enough chances to win this basketball game that it is fair for somebody to be upset that they did not win it, right? Like, if it would be one thing if this thing stayed at like a 8-point margin the whole game, but this wasn't the case. You know, you had some guys step up, make some plays down the stretch. Ty Jerome, I thought he made some big shots in the fourth quarter. And up until the end of the game, I thought Darius Garland had made some pretty big shots for you in the fourth quarter of this game. And the reason why I'm not going to be gung-ho to dunk on Darius for missing those free throws, I thought he played well, right? 26 points, 5 assists. Wasn't great from the floor, but was 3 of 6 from three on a night where the Cavs as a unit shot 31%. But something's going on with his free throws the last couple of weeks because my man went 3 of 8 from the free throw line. Can't understand that. Don't understand how that happened. I mean, he's a 50, 40, 90 guy, and he goes 3 of 8 from the free throw line. Cannot happen again. So yeah, Darius Garland got to make his free throws. You make your free throws, Cavs win this game. But another thing I think needs to be talked about before I get into my complaints about the officiating. Donovan Mitchell got to be better than this in the fourth quarter, my man. 0 for 6. I understand 2 of those shots were kind of Hail Marys at the end of the game, but why are you really only getting 4 shots up in the entire fourth quarter? Why are you not being more aggressive trying to get to the rim? And if you are being aggressive trying to get to the rim, why aren't you more effective? So that should have happened. The Cavs should have won this game. I understand they didn't have the bodies. They didn't have Karras. They didn't have Evan. But you can't count on being 100% healthy for the whole season. You're going to miss guys for stretches. You're going to have to win a game without Donovan Mitchell. You're going to have to win a game without Darius Garland. You're going to have to win a game without Evan Mobley. You're going to have to win a game without Jared Allen. So, yeah, I get they weren't healthy. I'm frustrated with the Cavaliers. The refereeing in this game was god-awful. And I know some people will go and say, hey, the refs gave you all the opportunity at the end of the game to win it. And that's fair, right? But what did Asor have? Yeah, Sengun had 18 points in this game. Brother, 16 of them 18 points he fouled on him. He was elbowing. Like, I felt like Jared Allen was being antagonized by the referees in this game because they didn't call a goddamn thing. Sengun is throwing his elbows into the face, the chest of Jared Allen. At one point, Sengun straight up 2-arm pushes Jared Allen after the play, review it and everything, and then tell us it didn't happen. That's crazy. I saw it. I saw what happened. Can't fool me. Sengun just straight up pushed Jared Allen, got away with it, got away with a bunch of elbows, and on the other side, got away with fouling the hell out of Jared Allen. And I'm going to give Jared Allen a ton of credit in this game because the Cavs made like a 19-0 run in this game, and Jared Allen was like the main reason it was happening. He was rebounding. He was getting second chance points. Jared Allen, despite the fact that he was antagonized by these referees legitimately all game, like the refs were so aggressive towards not helping, or not even not helping, because the refs ain't supposed to help you, but the refs were so aggressive and not calling anything in the favor of Jared Allen in this matchup today, it makes you wonder, like, what was going on there. And I'm not one of these people who like to come on here and say it's crooked or even go to the game is rigged stuff. I don't think this game was rigged or anything. And I'm not one to blame the refs for a result. And I don't think the Cavs can blame the refs for the result, especially with how the game ended. But we got to point out that the refereeing in this game was all kind of funky, and it seemed like a lot of it was geared towards specifically Jared Allen. Like, a awkward amount of it was geared towards, like, Jared Allen. Like, I imagine he was frustrated at the end of this game, but he played fantastically. 17 points, 13 rebounds. Can't be mad at him. Hell, I thought Dean Wade played well in this one defensively. Offensively, he gave you 8 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, stepped up, did some big man stuff. In the absence of Evan Mobley, Max Strus was not very helpful tonight. And we got to start having a conversation about Max Strus and Sam Merrill. Combined today, Sam Merrill went, 3 of 9 from the floor. Max Strus went 2 of 6. So combined, they went 5 of 15 and 2 of 9 from 3. They take up the most shots on the team that aren't like star players, and they miss the most shots on the team. And like the thing about both of them, Sam Merrill and Max Strus, and Max is still working back from that injury, so maybe this stuff gets a little bit better down the stretch. But with Sam, he's been so off so long, I'm kind of done with it at this point. I get the appeal of Sam Merrill here, but and look, he did some good things defensively. I don't want to act like he was a complete negative on the floor. He actually made a couple critical plays defensively and to help the offense that don't show up on the stat sheet. But the amount of shots that these two take, and then you have to factor in eventually you're going to get one of those efforts from George Niang, even though George Niang was good, 2 of 4 from 3, 3 of 7 from the floor. You just can't have it, right? Like Max Strus, Sam Merrill, sometimes they shoot you out of games or sometimes they shoot you out of runs. I thought this was an example of it. And Sam wasn't, I don't want to make it out to be like Sam was terrible in this game. He clearly wasn't. He had 7 points in 23 minutes. But there's just something about having those two on the floor, especially when you have them on the floor at the same time. It causes issues. Speaking of causing issues, Tristan Thompson did not provide 13 quality minutes in this game. I thought he did a really good job against the Phoenix Suns, but in this one was way less effective. I know a lot of people tell me that the Cavs need to get a backup center. They got to look at what's available in the buyout market, right? The buyout market going to be something that they're going to have to look at. I don't know if the Cavs are going to make a ton of trades because they just don't have a ton to trade right now. And I don't know if I want to move any of the core players on this team. But, yeah, just a frustrating night overall. The Cavs have had amazing, frictionless nights. Let me talk about Sam Merrill real quick before I get – not Sam Merrill, Ty Jerome real quick. Ty Jerome was not good in the first half of this game. He got in immediately in the first quarter, like late first, early second, and he turned the ball over a ton. The Cavs had like a 10-point lead when he came onto the floor, and then Ty Jerome had some very nasty minutes to start this game, and I think it ballooned into like a 3-point lead for the Houston Rockets. So it wasn't great in the first half, but was critical on that run that the Cavs made in the second half. So I thought Ty Jerome made up for it. Also, another thing I was not excited about or happy with was the Cavs' last-minute offense here, right? Cavs had 2 opportunities with the tied game to get a shot to either win, go ahead, or tie. And I thought what they drew up both times was very underwhelming. Again, you're expecting Darius to make the 3 free throws. I get it. And if you want to be mad at Darius for missing the free throws, cool. But I would like it if there was something more creative that we could have done at the end of the game to get these guys an open look. I mean, there wasn't much time. They only had like 4.5 seconds, so it was kind of just like a stack screen, pull around it and shoot kind of a situation. And I don't know how creative you could have got there. Maybe if you had Evan Mobley, you could have went for a tip in or something like that. But instead, when the Cavs were down 1 point, 2.5 seconds left, we somehow end up settling for a one-footed, double-covered turnaround 3-point attempt from Donovan Mitchell. I don't think that's the best shot you could have gotten in that situation. And outside of just the last two attempts in the game for the Cavs from the floor, I'm more frustrated with what happened once the Cavs capped off that run, right? Fred VanVleet makes an incredible logo three. Like, okay, you try to defend it. He cashes this three. Cool. The looks that the Cavs got from the 2-minute 30-second mark onto the rest of this game were just not great looks. I don't think that they did enough to get the off. Like this offense flows so well most of the time. It made no sense that the looks that we were getting were so trash. I think at one point, Jarrett Allen takes a one-footed fall away jump shot in the paint. When do we ever do that? Darius Garland just like drives straight into a double team, loses the ball mid-drive. When do we do that? Donovan Mitchell was very effective getting his own. Like, we turned into ISO ball, right? Instead of doing what the Cavs do well, which is like play off these screens, keep the movement, ball energy. Instead, it turned into, all right, throw Darius the ball. Let's see what he does. Throw Donovan the ball. Let's see what he does. And I understand that there's going to be some need to play like that because that's what's going to happen in playoff basketball. I get it. I get that that's there. But that doesn't mean that you don't be who you are, right? I'm not asking the Cavs to pass it around 18 times. I'm saying be attentive. Be aware. There's going to be a lane for a cut. Be there, right? Like, let's be on the boards. Let's be more useful if you're not going to have the basketball in your hand than what this team was. Or let's be a little bit more creative about how we break into these one-on-one sets or these ISOs so that you can have a better shot of getting somebody a bucket. Instead, we're denying screens. We're just straight up going ISO, and we're just trying to cook one-on-one, and you ain't have it. They got to be who they are, right? Even if you got to adjust who you are for the moment, which is at the end of the game, cool. But we can't force all these bad shots. We took like 3 threes at the end of this game. The game was tied. Like, Darius took a step back three at the end of the game for no reason, contested. Donovan took a step back three at the end of this game, contested. It wasn't a good shot. We got to get better looks than this. Kenny's got to get something better in during these timeouts to get you some better looks than what we got at the end of this game. So if you're looking for something to take away as a bit of something to watch going forward with this Cavs team, that is something that I would take from this game and say, hey, that was not good enough. I understand every other excuse that we have for why the Cavs lost this game, but that right there, that one element, this has to improve before we get to the playoffs, because you don't want to be in a situation where you're having this conversation about a playoff game, right? Losing to the Rockets in regular season, who cares, right? It's not really that big of a deal. But if you have a game, like let's say you're game 2, well, not game 2, let's say you're game 3 against Boston, and you're trying to take a 3-0 lead, and it's one of these type games, and you have an opportunity like this down the stretch to start to pull away or to put some buckets up, and you fumble them like you did in this game, you're going to be very frustrated, but that could spur a Boston comeback. So when you have a team on the ropes, got to do a better job at finishing them. Cavs been doing a good job of that all year by being who they are. For whatever reason, at the end of this game, they decided to be who they aren't. Got to be better than that. Kenny's got to get that right. You know, this was a frustrating performance here for the Cavs. And again, I know Evan Mobley's not in there. They missed some guys, but this was a frustrating performance. I also understand that the Houston Rockets were way hotter from three than they've been all season. They're a 30% team. They shot like 44 today. Yeah, you caught them on a bad night, but you still could have beat them. And that's the positive and the negative takeaway from this game. The positive takeaway from this game is exactly that, right? The Cavs had a bad 3-point shooting night. We're out Evan Mobley. We're out all these guys. And they really should have beat the Rockets still. And the Rockets are like the 2 seed in the West. A very good basketball team, right? At home, on the road, right? The Cavs had that chance and honestly should have still beat them. But on the flip side, you had a team on the ropes. You had a 2 seed on the ropes, and you couldn't close the game. So you shouldn't be happy about this. I wouldn't be depressed about it, but I wouldn't be happy about this. Got to close that game. Got to have a better plan for closing this game. Cavs had the momentum up at like 2 minutes left. Got to have a better plan to close this game. Got to get better looks for your best players down the stretch. I've been impressed with Kenny Atkinson this whole time. This has been the one time that I've been a little underwhelmed by Kenny's decision-making at the end of this game. So that's where I'm at. Obviously a frustrating loss. Cavs still 36-7, right? At the end of the day, we all good. But this would have been one that would have been very impressive to take if you could have gotten a win against the Rockets on the road, short Evan Mobley, when the Rockets are shooting out of their mind at 3-point. So you're getting an outlier performance from this Rockets team. Yeah, that would have been impressive. But instead, it was frustrating because you could have done it. You should have done it, and you didn't do it. That's my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.